Welcome to the Explainer, guys. Today, we're completely breaking down the science of human height. We are going to separate all those crazy, pervasive internet myths from hard biological reality. So, if you've ever wondered if you can actually naturally add a few inches to your stature, well, you're in exactly the right place. I mean, we've all seen those viral routines, right? The ones promising that just a few simple stretches or maybe hanging from a pull-up bar for a few minutes will magically add inches to your frame. It's an incredibly common claim online, but we really need to ask the big question here. Is that actually biologically possible? Well, the short scientific answer is no. You absolutely cannot lengthen your bones through stretching. But hold on, because there is a fascinating catch here. It has to do with the way our bodies naturally compress, meaning you actually are taller at certain times of the day. Kind of wild, right? So here's our game plan for today. We'll hit the myth of growing taller, look at the epiphyseal growth plate, dive into the morning height illusion, talk about maximizing growth in youth, and finally wrap up with perfecting posture as adults. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The myth of growing taller. Let's actually kick this off by addressing a really burning question from a 21-year-old on the Ask Ayurveda platform. They wanted to know, can you naturally increase your permanent heights in your 20s? Well, wrap your head around this massive number for a second. 80%. According to research backed by the National Institutes of Health, up to 80% of your maximum height is strictly locked in by the genes you inherit from your parents. Now, the remaining 20%, that's left up to environmental factors during your childhood. But guys, by the time you reach adulthood, that genetic blueprint is firmly, permanently set. Moving right along to Section 2, the epiphyseal growth plate. To really grasp why all those internet stretching routines absolutely fail to make adults permanently taller, we have to look inside the anatomy of a long bone. The core of the whole height issue lies right here in the epiphyseal plate. Most people just call it the growth plate. It's basically a layer of hyaline cartilage located at the ends of your long bones, like the ones in your arms and legs. And this crucial cartilage is literally the only place in the entire human body where bones can actually lengthen. But, and this is a massive but, they come with a very strict biological expiration date. So pay attention to this timeline, because this is the crucial point. Once you pass puberty, these growth plates permanently harden into solid bone. For girls, this typically happens between 14 and 16 years of age. For boys, it's usually between 16 and 18, with final skeletal maturity generally reached by the early 20s. And listen, once those plates fuse, they are fused. No amount of stretching, hanging upside down, or miracle supplements can ever reopen them. It's just a biological fact. Which brings us to Section 3, the morning height illusion. Now, if bone growth completely stops in our teens, why did that 21-year-old patient notice she was noticeably taller after just one single week of morning yoga? It all comes down to a little thing called spinal compression. You see, throughout the day, gravity is literally squeezing the fluid-filled discs in your spine like wet sponges. It's a completely natural process, but it actually causes you to lose up to 2 whole centimeters of height by bedtime. Thankfully, lying down to sleep completely restores that heightation overnight. And that is exactly why you always measure at your absolute tallest first thing in the morning. So, when you hang from a bar or do those deep yoga stretches, it definitely gives you a temporary height boost because you're manually decompressing the spine. But it's really just returning your body to its uncompressed baseline. You aren't generating new bone mass out of thin air. You're merely stretching out the space between your vertebrae for a few hours. All right, Section 4, maximizing growth in youth. So while we know adults cannot add permanent inches, children and teenagers with open growth plates still have 20% of their height influenced by environmental factors. Let's look at how to actually maximize that. Since human growth hormone is primarily released during deep sleep, hitting the right sleep targets for your age group is absolutely critical. It's a non-negotiable for teenagers who want to reach their maximum genetic height. For example, teens aged 13 to 18 still require 8 to 10 hours of quality sleep every single night for optimal development. You really can't cheat sleep if you want to grow. And when it comes to physical activity, surprise, surprise, it's actually not stretching that stimulates bone growth. Rather, it's vigorous, high-impact activities that generate significant ground reaction forces. We're talking about things like gymnastics, jumping, soccer, activities that apply beneficial stress to the bones. That stress acts as a signal, telling them to build greater mass and density while those growth plates are still wide open. But of course, you've got to pair that high-impact exercise with the right fuel. A diet rich in calcium, complete proteins like eggs or dal, and vitamins from leafy greens provides the literal building blocks required for peak bone mass. Think about it. You just cannot build a taller structure without the right raw materials. It's impossible. Finally, Section 5, Perfecting Posture as Adults. But what if you're an adult with closed growth plates who still wants to maximize their physical presence without falling for online scams? Well, this is where the real work begins, because every single day you have two choices: stay exactly where you are or become stronger than you were yesterday. This is where we stop making excuses and focus on what we can actually control. The gym doesn't care about your excuses, and neither does your spine. The truth is, chronic poor posture from constantly looking down at our phones and slouching at our computers creates super tight chest muscles and a weak core. This forward slump can actually make you appear significantly shorter than your biological skeleton allows. Fixing this slump is hands down your absolute best tool for appearing taller. And fixing it takes real discipline. Success isn't built in one single workout. It's built by showing up when you're tired, when you're unmotivated, and when nobody is watching, just to practice specific yoga asanas. By putting in that effort, you actively lengthen those tight muscles, correct anterior pelvic tilts, and optimize your spinal alignment. Sure, you aren't growing new bone, but you are finally standing at your true maximum height. Every drop of sweat is proof you're getting closer to the person you want to become. Similarly, while Ayurvedic remedies definitely won't magically make your bones longer, doctors often recommend herbs like ashwagandha to support the vital muscle strength and joint health you need to maintain that perfect posture as you age. It's all about fortifying the structure you already have. Your body can achieve far more than your mind believes, so trust the process. The science is incredibly clear here, guys. You absolutely cannot cheat your genetics or reopen closed growth plates. But that doesn't mean you're powerless. Not at all. Stop comparing yourself to others and chasing impossible inches. Instead, compete with the person you were yesterday. One more rep, one more set, one more step forward. Focus your energy on what you can control, optimizing your core strength, perfecting your posture, and building your presence. Remember, winners are not born, they are built through hard work, sacrifice, and relentless dedication. So are you going to keep obsessing over a tape measure, or are you ready to get up, train harder, and become the strongest version of yourself today? Your future self is counting on you.